Yes. Let me just organize that real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Screen sharing. You guys should be able to see it now.
You are indeed live.
All right, awesome.
Hello.
Let's go ahead and... That's not the right thing to do. Okay. What in the world? There we go. Okay. We fixed it. We broke it, but we fixed it.
Video preview is live, so that's good.
Perfect.
Yep, I see it.
Turn off mouse cursor because I'm sure you guys don't want to see my mouse. All right. Awesome. Okay. Welcome back. All right, let me know when we're all ready to go. Just make sure I have true reset, which is required. True resetting as in deleting all your files in your app data folder before starting. As if you've just bought the game and played it fresh. I just realized that once the game crashes, we're gonna lose the video feed on Skype. Not that huge of a deal, but...
Yeah, I'm sure we can deal with a little bit of delay.
Yeah.
Also, once the game crashes, nice spoiler.
Once I soft lock, it won't matter anyway. Did we meet the incentive for naming the fallen human, by the way?
They hadn't any donations for either of them, so I've been trying to hype that as much.
Gotcha. Okay, so we'll just name it, Okay, so are we ready to start going?
All right, Chad, are we ready to go? We already see some Undertale?
Let's go. All right, so I will go ahead and get started. In 3, 2, 1.
2, 1, go.
Go. Okay. So this is Undertale. Welcome. I'm TGH once again. Welcome back. So this is Undertale's true pacifist ending. We're going to be getting a neutral ending first. If you guys know how Undertale works, neutral ending involves defeating the final boss, or, you know, this guy. He's the final boss, eventually. So we beat this guy, and then we go on and get the extra ending by fulfilling a few extra requirements. Dating people, you know, it's a dating simulator, basically. So...
It's also a mashing simulator.
Yes, it is a mashing simulator. I have some co-commentators for this run, if you guys want to introduce yourselves.
Who goes first? I am Dragodan. Hello, guys. I'm also an Undertale runner. I primarily speedrun the genocide category, which we're not seeing here today, sadly. But I know a fair bit about neutral and pacifist as well, so I'll be helping out teach where I can.
Hello, my name is Rambu. I am also a runner for Undertale. I run mostly neutral and TPE.
Nice, and these guys are both very established and experienced runners in the community, and I'd like to thank them both for being here. And co-commentating. It's an honor, guys. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, not a problem. It's a pleasure to be here, honestly.
One thing I don't like about this game is all the hand-holding. Like, I think like this is ridiculous, honestly. Jokes. Also, this hallway is pretty tough. Anyway, so this game, you're probably wondering, like what in the world? Like, how do you speedrun Undertale? Like, Undertale is a game that's so heavily focused on story and dialogue and choices you make and the whole 9 yards. It's really, you know, there can't be any like speed tech to it, right? Wrong. So basically, aside for the first few parts of the game, like the ruins and Snowden, this game is actually very speed tech heavy. We get an item called the punch card and waterfall that's going to allow us to break the game pretty badly. For right now, though, we're just kind of like beelining towards the exit of the ruins. Mashing through dialogue as quickly as possible, menuing as quickly as possible, running away from enemies, moving optimally, you know, that stuff. Not falling down in the maze. There we go. So I got lucky there. This is actually pretty good RNG.
Yeah, worth noting, I suppose, that there is RNG in this game, although most of it has been removed through the usage of the punch card. The ruins is very notable for RNG, since you do get periodic encounters through the room. Certain encounters you can get through without encounters, others you will get one and you can just hope for an encounter that you can immediately flee from, which is, or spare, which is faster than flee.
Yep. By about 1.5 seconds, I think. This is Napstablook. He's a sad ghost. He likes to cry on you. So we're gonna cheer him up a little bit. So we cheer him 4 times, making sure I cheer there, so I don't lose 2 minutes. Which, by the way, happens if you don't cheer him that 4th time rather.
I mean, if you want a slight optimization, I did actually find the other day by accident that you can flirt on turn 4 and that works as well.
Yep. But it's actually slower to flirt. Because,
oh, it is?
Yeah, because for whatever reason, when you cheer, you can skip through his dialogue.
Ah, I see.
Whereas if you flirt, you can't. For whatever reason, I don't know. I'm getting scary good RNG right now.
Yeah, these 2 last puzzle rooms are both rooms where you can get a random encounter deciding on how the step count feels, like that one right there. So that's a random encounter. But getting only 1 encounter in those 2 rooms, that's pretty good, I'd say.
412 though through perspective is pretty good. Perspective hallway. So I should talk about the tutorial battle. The tutorial battle is very RNG dependent. Basically all the RNG in this run is right at the beginning of the run, luckily. And do you want to explain, actually Jacob, do you want to explain the tutorial battle a little bit?
Me or Rumbu?
I can explain if you want to. So the tutorial battle is the most RNG heavy battle in the game. When you are in the battle, you want to try and minimize the length of the attacks, which you can only do on 2 different types of attacks, which are the hand attacks. Basically, tutorial will use hands to shoot flames at you, but if you run into the hands, you'll end the attack early. And we want to get as many of these attacks as possible. Like that one right there.
Yep. Ideally, you want 5, at least 5.
Yeah. The last attack can technically be whatever you want, because typically Toriel does 4 damage per hit, and then once you get down to 4 HP, she only deals 1 damage per hit, taking you down to 3. At that point, if you're at 3 HP, whatever attack you land against will end immediately. The hand is slightly faster still, like by frames, but at that point, any attack that you hit at 3 HP will end early.
Basically, Toriel doesn't want to kill you at all.
Yeah,
so
like it's difficult to die in this fight, even if you try to die. You actually have to really create a situation where it's possible to die in this fight.
And I got an optimal tutorial. So I think this is sub 650 rooms.
That was really good.
So yeah, that was a really good tutorial fight. And a really good ruins overall. Can I like get a ruins like that in a PB attempt one of these days? please. Seriously.
So I guess since there's not too much going on until Snowden really starts, a little on how text mashing actually works. The two action buttons in this game are Z and X. X progresses a text box to make a text box complete, and Z loads the next one. So if you alternate Z and X inputs very quickly, you effectively mash through the text very quickly. The way this is achieved for most runners is by using two sets of input keys. You use ZX on one hand and Enter and Shift on the other hand, and you attempt to rhythmically alternate mash them. You can also use a controller, which I believe TG will be using periodically, which can potentially be faster for text mashing, but it's both physically exhausting, it's difficult to do, and there are relatively few parts of the game where you have text mashing that isn't immediately followed by the need to move around, which, if you're going to do that, you need to use the keyboard for, since you can hold a directional key whilst mashing.
Yeah, the keyboard, like, you might think that mashing is pretty tiresome in this game, but the way most runners mash, or at least the way most of the top runners mash, it's actually very easy to do. Or like it's not easy to do, but it's a lot less tiring than you might think on your arms and wrists. It's mainly I mainly just use my fingers to mash. I don't really I don't use my wrists at all.
I think it's fair to say that an obstacle with learning to mash well in this game is that it's easy to assume that the objective is to go as fast as possible, but that's really not true. In Undertale, good mashing is more about rhythm than speed, and you also don't need to hit the keys particularly hard either, so if you just slow down and maintain a consistent rhythm that doesn't break, you honestly don't need to go that fast to mash text quickly, and then it's more about having comfortable finger and hand positions than anything else, because you really can tie your hands and wrists out very quickly if you're not seated comfortably.
And it's worth noting right now that I'm actually 10 seconds ahead of world record.
Oh my.
World record at a 7:06 ruins. That was a 6:56.
So right here is an instance of controller mashing as well. You can hear that distinctive controller clicking.
Yep. And it's a little bit faster. It's like 1 or 2 text boxes per second faster for me personally. But it does make a difference throughout the run. Whoops. I didn't eat the pie, that's all that matters. Okay, so you might have noticed right there, I withdrew the tough glove and immediately equipped it. So you start the game with your default weapon as the stick. So when you equip a weapon over it, the stick gets moved into your inventory. It doesn't go away. It gets moved into your inventory to use as an item. And we're going to use the stick to spare the dogs pretty much instantly. Yo.
Do we have a free moment to read off a donation or a couple of donations?
Sure thing.
All right, so we've got a $15 donation from Kevin. He says $5 for Hug the Goat and $10 for Kill the Animals in Star Fox 64. More specifically, Falco and Corneria, Slippy and Peppy and Metro, Peppy in Sector X, and Falco in Titanium. Good luck, Tej. Gotta lose those 660 frames. So thank you very much for that donation there, Kevin.
666 frames, actually. Which is
Lee
funny.
says 660, so I guess who's counting, right?
I made a joke one day that Hugging the Goat was 666 frames because it took about 22 seconds. And this game runs at 30 frames per second, so... Basically. Connect the dots. So if you notice on the doggo fight, I used a stick and then immediately could spare after that, which is the most optimal way to fight doggo, or to spare doggo.
Yeah, going through the pacifist route casually, each enemy is meant to have a specific spare condition. Like, rather than fighting, it's supposed to use the act menu and figure out the way that each enemy wants to be spared, but against these dog enemies, if you just throw the stick, it just contents them immediately, and then you can spare them without doing anything else.
Alright, so I got some tough puzzles going up, including this one.
We have our first actual glitch coming up, correct?
Yep. I'm kind of worried I'm going to fail it since I'm actually using a new keyboard right now. So it might not be the same feeling, but we'll see.
You got this. It's only pixel perfect. It's easy.
Okay, so this part right here, even though we perfectly understand Papyrus's puzzle and the inner workings of it down to like the nitty gritty of that puzzle, we're gonna choose that we don't understand it, because that's about 15 seconds faster or so. This is ice puzzle skip, so I'm gonna stand on a specific pixel, or at least try, right? Okay, I failed it. I fucking knew I was gonna do that. Whoops. Sorry, I mean to swear.
It's possible, knowing this game, that could be more down to an input drop than anything else. That skip is performed by being on a specific pixel and then moving down and right on the same frame. But we've discovered at least once that through like playing back videos and looking when inputs are being performed on input cams, that even if you do perform the two inputs on the same frame, you can still just move down for some reason.
Okay, so that's how it was kind of supposed to look, except not really. I got stuck on the tile because of a bad self-pixel, but... Alright, so here's Greater Dog. And he didn't give us the right RNG. So basically, Greater Dog could have given us the right RNG by giving us a certain attack. So if he gave us the dog lying on the ground attack, like with the bark attack, otherwise known as, we would have been able to run into it, much like Toriel's hands. And been able to like immediately skip the attack. We have a second, by the way, in case that donation wants to get right off.
All right, and I do have one for you. Give me just a second, I'll pull it up. We have a $4 donation from Smile Omega. It says, "Yo, good luck on the marathon in the Undertale run, GTH." So thank you very much for that donation. So at this point, we have Hugs ahead at $5, and I'm gonna go ahead and check some more as we go along here. So, but if you want the no hug, please go ahead and send in those donations for that one, okay?
So this is the second major boss of the route, which is Papyrus, and we're going to choose to fight him a few times by intentionally losing to him. The Papyrus fight, if you try and get through it just by sparing, is extremely long, and you can pseudo-skip this fight by intentionally losing it to him 3 times in a row, and then when you go and fight him for the 4th time, he will give you the option to just not fight him, which is several seconds faster, I believe. Exactly how much faster is it?
It's about 45 seconds.
Oh, yes. A lot more then.
It's ridiculous how much faster actually losing to him is.
That saves a lot more than I thought.
Do we have time for one more donation?
Sure.
All right, we got a $25 donation from Adam that says, "Glad to donate to a good cause and during the Undertale run. Best of luck. Oh, and also you better hug the damn goat."
That's gonna win, I can already tell. It's inevitable. It's gonna happen. Alright, so that's the second time we've lost to Papyrus. We need to lose to him 3 times. Joke's on you guys, by the way. I'm actually just really bad at this fight. You don't need to lose to him.
Looks like Ford is gonna give us $1,000. Hopefully that's right. I'm kidding. Joking, of course.
It was a slip. It was a slip.
Sorry, I just had to get on that.
It's
all right.
I apologize.
Gotta have fun with you at your expense, right?
Sure. I deserve it. Alright, so that is the last time we will lose to Papyrus. Hopefully. Alright, so now Papyrus is going to give us a choice. He's going to give us a choice to either fight him or not, and we are going to choose no. Effectively saving 45 seconds on his fight. There we go.
It's very helpful that the game picks yes as the default choice, forcing you to not fight him again.
Yep. Yeah, you have to manually go over to no, which is kind of a pain, but it's required because the game doesn't like to be friendly sometimes with the menus. Okay, so you can date Papyrus later or hang out with Papyrus or whatever you want to call it, but we're gonna go back and do it now because it's faster and it's just less overworld travel to go back and hang out with him now. I hope you like keyboard noises, by the way, because you're gonna hear a lot of keyboard noises during this date. Well, throughout the entire game, really. But. Okay, so Papyrus's date is basically just mash. Mash a lot. Yeah, I failed the Papyrus fight pretty badly. 3 times. Alright, tough menu coming up here. And wow, I menued to it and I'm back to eating the spaghetti. It's cool.
Did you get menu glitched or was that just an accident?
No, it was, I get that sometimes. I menued to it, but like an input didn't work. So I menued back to it. Back to the bad option. Basically, there I could have saved 4 seconds by refusing to eat a spaghetti. But it didn't work. I ate it. Okay, so now that we're done with that, we're gonna enter Waterfall. Waterfall is where the run starts to get very interesting. Waterfall is where we acquire the item called the punch card. I'll do my best to explain the punch card right now so I don't have to do it while I'm actually executing skips. So the punch card, long story short, it acts as a means for us to manipulate a certain value in the code, which tells the game whether or not you can move. So basically, if you're in a cutscene, your interact value, which is what it's called, global interact value is what it's called, that value is going to be 1 if you're in a cutscene, meaning you can't move. If your interact value is 0, it means you can move. When you enter a cutscene, your global interact is going to be 1. But on the frame we enter the cutscene, or on the pixel that the cutscene is supposed to trigger, we can open our menu. We have 1 frame to open our menu. And we're going to use that menu to use this punch card. It's very complicated to explain like in full. There's 1 frame in between when you actually use the punch card and when it appears on screen as a sprite. So you can use that frame to do a lot of different things. For instance, start that cutscene I was talking about. So you start that cutscene, the punch card appears on screen and the cutscene plays behind it. Then when you get rid of the punch card, the game is programmed, no matter what, to always set your interact value to 0 so that you can move around during the cutscene. So that's how like basic punch card skips work. Basic punch card skips with like skipping cutscenes pixel perfectly.
It sounds a lot more difficult to execute than it actually is in practice as well, because talk about like moving onto the cutscene, opening the menu on the same frame. It's easier than it sounds because whilst you have the menu open, the cutscene will not play, and the cutscene doesn't play until you close the menu. So as long as you're on the correct pixel / frame and you get the menu open, you then have as much time as you want to menu to the punch card and use it.
Exactly. And there are other things you can do. There are other things you can do with that 1 in-between frame. I'll refer to it as the in-between frame so as not to have to explain it over and over. That in-between frame can be used to skip cutscenes or play cutscenes. Can be used to move into transitions and wrong warp. It can be used to interact with things and store text. So this item's pretty broken.
You were very close to getting hit by the spears on that.
I was about a
last bend
pixel away.
as well.
Yeah, I was about one
Yeah,
pixel.
that was very close. That chase is a little weird because the hitbox on Frisk's body, which is the main character of the game, is a little disjointed. Like, if the spears are anywhere near the body or the bottom of the body, you'll get hit really easily. But most of the head doesn't actually seem to have an active hitbox, so the spears can go straight through your head and they won't hit you. But they can pass by the bottom of your feet and they will hit you.
Yeah, basically, it's just Frisk's hitbox is almost like 1/2 of his head lower than his actual sprite is.
Right.
Yeah, so like just keeping that in mind. So here's where we get the punch card. And the first thing we're gonna do with it is we're gonna overflow the box and wrong warp into the first room after. Not that box. We're gonna do this box once we arrange our items the way we want. So there we go. We've overflowed that text. Switch over to no so we don't soft lock and wrong warp slightly into the next room.
I'm not even going to attempt to explain how wrong warps work, sorry.
Well, wrong warps is wrong warps are pretty simple actually to explain. Basically, messing with the interact value while you're transitioning causes the game to skip the part of the code that spawns you in the next room correctly. It doesn't know what to do, so it just kind of spawns you in the default position used for debug purposes. Can skip on the insane. That was actually frame perfect.
That was very good, yeah. So this is the main sort of PCE or punch card skip you're going to see again and again during the run, but a lot of them are a lot easier than that one because there's a specific visual cue that you can use for most of them, but the Onion Sands one is very sparse with a visual indicator of when you're supposed to go for it because the entire floor texture is just uniformly the same.
Exactly. So this is where the run starts to get very tech heavy, and
Yeah.
a lot more difficult.
Like for this one on Monster Kid, for instance, it's a lot easier to hit because the pixel that you need is right in line with where the wall, like the little alcove where Monster Kid is standing, starts. So that's a very easy visual indicator compared to some other ones.
Walking side to side had no purpose. I just like to do that.
But holding up and down here, it does.
Yep, holding up and down here makes you move about twice as fast. For whatever reason. Oops. Has something to do with Frisk not having the ability to move up or down in certain parts, because there's another part later where we're going to do that as well. In the True Lab.
This is a very important PCE as well. With the visual cue for this one isn't too bad, but it's kind of janky. Like,
Yep.
it's difficult to explain. It's easy once you know where it is, but it's difficult to learn the cue for that one.
Yep. We do have time for another donation. Oh,
All right. I have a $5 donation from. It says, didn't donate in time for naming fallen human, so put this towards Goat Hug so TGH loses time. So again, thank you very much.
Who was that?
Tej, can I please just stop you to... can I ask you to stop hacking the game? These spears should be hitting you.
I'm good at avoiding these, man.
I have no idea how you avoided all those spears.
Who was that, by the way? Who was that donation from?
That donation was from 4373, one of your fellow runners for
that
this
explains
channel.
it. That explains
Thank you very
it.
much, Todd.
I didn't hear the name because I think you broke up like slightly, but yeah, I was wondering who it was.
Yeah, if you need me to repeat some of these donations, do let me know.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
I do apologize for that. But that was Ford.
Something interesting to note, by the way, about those spears, you can manipulate where they actually appear. Not necessarily RNG manipulation, but it's more like AI manipulation. So you can hold certain directions. Like, say, for instance, right now, I'm holding up and right up above that waterfall, or up against that waterfall.
Oh,
We got Jesus
Jesus
first, by the way.
The run's in.
So if you hold up and right up against like a northern collision, for instance, Frisk is moving right, but you're holding up and right, and that's what the game reads in order to determine where the spears actually appear relative to where you are. So you can use that to your advantage in a lot of parts. So you might have noticed some of the spears appearing in weird places. That's why. This is the Mad Dummy fight. So you can actually, you can 5-cycle Mad Dummy's first phase. The second phase doesn't matter. The first phase, you'll notice I took damage intentionally there. I took damage intentionally so that it did just barely enough damage to get a 5-cycle, but not quite enough for him to advance his current attack pattern.
This is also the hardest fight in the game, FYI.
It is. I die to this guy all the time. At least, you know. When it's most important. Alright, we're good. So that's the 5-cycle. And advancing to that attack pattern that I mentioned, that like more advanced attack pattern, will give you less cotton balls to actually hit him with. So it's important that we actually not hit him with quite as many spears as we can, so that we can get more cotton balls to hit him with. Like, it essentially takes almost all the RNG out of getting 5-cycle, whereas with the previous strat, it took like I had done like over 3,000 attempts and maybe got 5-cycle once or twice.
Jeez.
So that's how rare it used to be, and now we can get it like 95% of the time. And this phase literally doesn't matter with what you do with the rockets.
One thing as well on wrong warps before TGH progresses, what you're going to see a lot for a lot of the wrong warps is that we leave the room and then re-enter the room before attempting the wrong warp. It's to get a specific pixel alignment to do before the wrong warp. Yep. Since if you're not on the correct pixel, it just won't work. And also, if you're not hard up against a wall, it also, I believe you said, makes the wrong warp frame perfect, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. To get the punch card off the screen. Because wrong warps, like, they look enticing. It's like, oh yeah, I can save some free time by warping around. If you don't get the punch card off the screen before the wrong warp occurs and the screen transition happens, though, you immediately soft lock the game.
Yeah, he
so
mentioned
they're actually dangerous.
He mentioned leaving the room and coming back. It's more optimal to just not leave and do that. The wrong warp set is. So like it's leaving and coming back is fine, but you save like a second or two by not leaving and coming back.
Yeah. It's just generally easier to gauge where you need to be if you re-enter a room and then only need to move a couple of pixels though.
It's also worth noting that every wrong warp you do has the potential to soft lock you if you don't mash away the punch card fast enough. So that's why you'll hear me, whenever I'm doing a wrong warp, I am furiously mashing Z just to make sure that the punch card goes away and then I don't soft lock.
Yeah, like ideally, I want to say you only need 2 Z inputs, one to activate the punch card and one to get rid of it, but if you drop that input, that's an immediate soft lock.
Yep. It's because your interact value doesn't actually ever change back from 1. When you transition, so your interact value stays 1 on the next screen, and you can't move. You can't ever move. Like you just stand there, and you can't control your frisk. You can't control frisk. You can't control your frisk.
So, coming up is, I guess, doesn't everyone agree that this is probably the hardest trick in the game? One die?
Yes.
Oh yes, definitely.
Yeah. So, you like PCEs, you like wrong warps, you're gonna hopefully see quite a lot of them in quick succession, which cuts down the Undyne fight considerably.
Yeah, so this is basically 2 really quick punch card skips and a very well-timed and quick wrong warp coming up on the next screen.
I'm just gonna be quiet to let you focus on this.
Okay. That was
Very
a really
nice.
good one.
That was really fast. That's a lot harder than it looks, by the way. You need to do multiple PCEs to mash away 2 of the cutscenes that occur, then you need to move into the right spot and then do a run walk at the correct time. It's really difficult to get all of that right in one attempt.
Yep. So doing that essentially takes Undyne and like it takes Undyne, excuse me, and basically cuts her into a third of what her battle is actually supposed to be. So ordinarily you're supposed to battle her 3 times and run away each time, but we're only gonna do that once.
You may also notice as well that the one fight that we are taking against Undyne, TG intentionally stopped slightly early and lets Undyne run into him a little sooner. This is to cut an extra cycle off the fight. If you keep running right and get as far as you can, you actually don't gain enough distance from her to skip this last part here.
Alright, water skip. Funny enough, you actually do not have to water Undyne in True Pacifist, contrary to popular belief, because the flag for her having needed water is her actually visibly collapsing. So if you leave the screen before she actually collapses, which we can do with the punch card, can't do it with any other way. You can leave the screen and you don't have to go back and give her water.
We also just completely went over lab skip, which with the old setup for lab skip using the overflow with the bag of dog food, that's like the genesis of glitches and skips for this game. I want to say that's probably the thing that made people realize, there's actually potential for glitching this game pretty badly.
This is called fast pan. So you can launch yourselves out of bounds. You can launch yourself out of bounds with these vents and punch carding the vents. So we can use that to get the burnt pan slightly faster, about 3 seconds faster.
It is very possible to soft lock on these out of bounds if you don't have the correct directional input though, so some care is needed when performing these.
Fun fact, I was actually testing this earlier today. If you frame perfectly mash through that, you can skip that laser cycle right there and just walk straight through.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, but it's not possible without TAS, so.
Speaking of all the punch card stuff going on, those shoutouts do need to be given to the guy who was in the call with us, Rombo. He discovered the PC exploit jointly with, I believe it was Valnar, wasn't it?
Yes, that's correct.
Yep.
Very nice jetpack skip.
Yep, so that was jetpack skip. What I did there, and it was a little fast, what I did there was I overflowed the northern wall with the punch card, and then so you notice that the text was basically scrolling. As the text was scrolling, I opened and closed the punch card again before that text finished, and that basically manipulated my interact value perfectly so that I could skip both the cooking show and the jetpack cutscene, where you jetpack up and chase Minotaur up and into the sky, basically.
Now it is necessary to actually leave Hotland, because every time you skip a Metaton cutscene, such as the one in the cooking show room, you actually lose the ability to use your menu, and you don't regain it until you leave Hotland. So it's very necessary to do that, because, you know, we kind of need access to the menu in order to keep using the punch card. And the small optimization that's present in this room is that for some reason, if you walk along the bottom of this corridor, you don't get the periodic phone calls and stats updates from Office.
Best strat in the game right here.
Volume 1, by the way.
That saves 1 second.
That was very nice.
Thanks. That was kind of close.
That was very close, but that was good.
That could have been a little better. Pick up the phone.
4 buffers for bomb defusal skip is still quite good though, because this is probably one of the single most important PCs to hit in the game. If you miss the bomb defusal skip, you are losing a lot of time. And it is, as far as actually hitting it goes, like one of the most difficult PCs to hit in the game, because there is no visual cue for it. The screen is just completely black. So instead we use Frisk's footsteps as a basic cue for when to go. But hitting that frame perfect is absolutely not worth the risk.
So we're going back here again to get our menu back, because that does count as a Metaton cutscene, which you lose your menu during. That's not it. That's whatever. Alright, so this is also one of the harder skips in the game. This is called North-South skip. If you time your punch cards just right, you can punch card off of these vents once again. Ah, I didn't make it. There we go. Alright, that's fine.
Very nice.
So, aside for the one fail, that was fine. Save there. That's the first save. That's the first
That was
save in
the
the
first
run.
safety save you've taken. I've just realized that.
And we can skip Muffet. Sorry, no spider donut, guys. No spider dance, excuse me. No spider dance. And no spider donut. So. Small little optimizational rung warp there. That was a little shaky, but that's fine. Alright. So basically, as you can see, we're using the punch card to breeze through the second half of the Minutia run. Or the second third of the run, I should say. So we need to go up and trigger this cutscene, because if we didn't, we wouldn't actually be able to get back to this floor. That cutscene is the trigger, is the flag for the game to be able to actually bring us back to this floor with the elevator over here.
So I guess before we reach the core, I have apparently received a specific request to read a donation from Ford373. We got $3. Yours says, also put towards goat hug. Come on, Ford. No, we don't hug the goat. No hug. Faster. This pace is really good. Don't ruin it.
I mean, I failed Ice Puzzle Skip, forgetting that.
It's a good one.
It's decent, but it's soiled. It's soiled by the, oops. Soiled by the ice puzzle fail. Alright. So now we're headed up to the core. And the core is basically a lot of the same. You can skip this magic encounter there. Ah, first failed skip in the run. Besides ice puzzle. First failed punch card in the run, I should say.
I agree that Teach should narrate Monster Tale, and he should also do it in the Microsoft sandbox.
What's the incentive for that? what's the what do we need to get to for that?
I will donate $100 right now.
Right now. Alright, so neat little strat we can do on this puzzle. We can overflow, and that's going to be able to... Oops, that's not it. There we go. We can get on that right pixel right there, and wrong warp out. That saves about a second and a half if done first try. So I probably broke even. Save there so that we can not lose a minute and a half if we fail Metaton Skip.
You think you could do the Metaton fight in a minute and a half? Damn.
Not without the armor, dude. No, but like this strat though, that's Metaton Skip. This is the one time we see Metaton on the run and we just walk straight through him. It's hilarious.
Also, I apparently got Ford's donation comment wrong. I apologize, Ford. Looks like you'll just have to donate again.
Okay, important skip here. Ah.
Those downward wrong warps will get you.
Yeah, it wasn't the actual downward wrong warp, it was getting position. I thought I wasn't in position, but I was. The bad thing about that downward wrong warp is that there's no visual cue at all. There's literally no visual cue for that downward wrong warp. You just have to kind of like look at where the pixel is and memorize it. All right, so this is new home. Shout out to Magler5000. He found this skip with the key. You can overflow the key here and take the text all the way over here. As soon as that encounter starts, walk into the door and you can skip the encounter. That saves about 10 seconds.
Assuming you accidentally mashed away the key text, you could just do it again with one of the flowers, right?
Yep. Basically, New Home and Monster Tale used to be like the part of the run where a runner can just like kind of take a nap almost. But now there's like actual speed tech in New Home, which is cool. Another one is actually coming up with 2 more encounters. So we can run warp past another one of these encounters. Which is this one right here. See if we can do a setup. Nice.
Very nice.
Yeah, so doing that, we actually run warped past where one of the encounters, because these encounters are not actually step based. These encounters are pixel based. So there's actually a trigger. There's actually a physical trigger that you walk over, and it'll actually trigger the encounter. Unlike most encounters, which are step based. Step meaning like basically frames that you walk. We can read off that donation actually, if you'd like. This is definitely the time to do it if there ever was one.
Yeah, Monster Tale is not known as the resident sleeper section for nothing.
Basically, all the tech is done, except for after these encounters.
Unskippable text is great.
Yep. This could be a sub-hour neutral in the true pacifist run. That's pretty decent.
And I mean, I guess I'll just go ahead then because I actually know what the donation comment was for. Turns out Ford wanted me to say, alright guys, so this is Undertale. We get the punch card, do the wrong walk. Whoops, there's the soft block.
Whoops, there's the soft block.
There's the soft block.
Thanks for watching. See you next year.
Thanks for the donations.
Oh man. So I'm not gonna lie, this run has actually been really good ever since the failed ice puzzle. Everything except the failed ice puzzle has been extremely good actually.
Yeah, this is a solid one. But we're gonna have to see just how good it is once we get into Asgore, the gatekeeper.
Yep. Okay. So I'll explain, actually, well, after, shout outs to Rambu for what we're about to do, Rambu Combo. You want to explain Rambu Combo, Rambu?
Sure. It's a series of 3 wrong warps after the sand skip right here once TGH gets it. Basically, it skips a lot of walking and a few cutscenes in the process. It's very impressive to watch.
Come on, keyboard. Wow.
Oh, I thought you soft locked that for a second.
This keyboard is a lot more sensitive than my old one. I need to get used to it.
Guess we're just gonna have to see how good you are at getting frame perfect inputs then.
Yep.
Because this is like the only fight in the game that is taken seriously. So far in the game we haven't seen any actual combat since this is the true pacifist route. But combat in this game, with the weapon that he's using specifically, the burnt pan, is about landing hits with the cursor as close to the center marker as possible. In order to deal the most damage possible, you need to actually get frame perfect hits in the dead center, 4 in a row each time. And it's very important to do that since it deals approximately double damage compared to missing them by even 1 frame each.
It's
and each
huge,
quad crit that Tej gets saves approximately a turn in the fight.
So I ate the pie there, and that doesn't save a turn, but it just makes for a shorter turn.
One quad, nice start.
Not bad. 2.
Nice.
It's 3. 4.
Odd quads.
Oh, ruined it. Wow, that was actually awful.
Ah,
That was actually a whiff. That wasn't even a gold.
these things happen.
It started off well, at least. There we go.
It's still been a decent fight so far, though, because it's worth noting that the level system in this game isn't completely meaningless. The higher the level you are, or love that you are, the higher your max HP count and the higher your attack power, and it actually does make a difference to the damage that you deal. So this being true Pacifist, being at level 1, this is the hardest Asgore fight you can have.
Well, the hardest Asgore fight I can have is with a gun.
That's true.
So... Okay. So that was... I don't even know, honestly, how many turns that was.
Got 6 quads. That was really good.
This is a sub-hour neutral. Yeah, this is a 59:47 neutral. So you can basically count on Flowey taking exactly 11 minutes.
Pretty much, yeah. And I mean, getting sub-hour neutral like this with taking the Pirate State, that's nothing to sneeze at.
Okay, so Flowey's gonna forcibly close my game here. But we're just gonna open it again right away. I tried to share my screens, but it didn't work.
Don't worry about it, just focus on the run.
No, I got it right now, actually. There's more downtime.
Ah, okay.
And I'm sure at some point I'll find time after this, too. Okay, so yeah, Flowey has 2 phases to his fight. The first phase is divided into 6 sections, 1 focused on each of the lost souls. And basically, like, each of the attacks involves, like, the weapons or the interests of the lost souls, like, that they had. Pretty interesting, actually, story-wise, but yeah, there's nothing really else to say about the first half of the fight, and then the second half is interesting just because of what may or may not happen in chat.
Yeah, there's a lot of math that actually goes on in the Flowey fight, but it's not really pertinent to the run. All you need to know is it's mathematically difficult to die in this fight.
Basically, if you go into a cycle with full health, it takes 14 hits to die. So with that in mind, I'm not really that concerned about taking too much damage.
Right.
Already ruined a no-hit.
No-hit is a complete meme, by the way. Some people try to go for no-hit flowy fights, but not only is it slower to do in a speedrun since you need to damage boost in the soul phases here to go faster, it's very difficult to even get a no-hit flowy fight because I think after some number crunching was done, people found that only 4% of the random attack patterns he gives you can actually be no-hit. And that assumes perfect execution in avoiding everything.
Hitting these fight buttons really doesn't matter. I mean, you can, but I actually don't. It doesn't hold any like significance during the fight.
It's always just nice to hear Flurry go.
Yeah.
And that is how the notification works, ladies and gentlemen. Came to that donation just a second.
You can go ahead and read it if you want. There's nothing too much happening here.
Alright, hopefully my audio will keep this time. I've got a $5 donation from Kevin. Says, I don't like this guy or his submission. Not only does he never grind, but he PCEs through everything as well. When he's mashing buttons to wrong war, he looks like he's about to self-lock. Not fun to attempt, like, dude, why are you so good? It barely took a year to discover, and at least he could run Gino at AGDQ. He submitted and now it's in. He couldn't even do the Sands fight? And that ends that donation.
What a meme, dude.
So thank you, Kevin, for that $5 donation.
I'm going to claim royalties on that since that is my copy pasta. Thank you very much.
Okay, so the act button for this one is going to come from this row right here. But it's either going to come from the right or left, and we don't know. Like, we have no way of knowing, at least not to our knowledge. So I just like to chill in the middle and react to it.
Yeah, it's just a 50-50 chance.
Yeah, if you guess a side, it's always wrong.
Rule.
It's also worth noting that you cannot die during these soul phases.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I forgot to mention that.
So after chilling out in the corner a little here to make the gun cycles a little faster, TG is going to close the game intentionally again because this fight periodically creates save flags that track your progress, and the save flag that we're looking for here is when the screen flashes and the bullets turn green. After that point you can close and reopen the game and it immediately sets you on the last phase of the Flurry fight.
Alright, so this is the second phase of the Flurry fight, the second half, if you will. It is tradition in Undertale speedrunners chats to just spam OW over and over and over again at this point.
You have my permission. Let's spam, guys. For this spite.
I mean, I didn't even wait for the permission. I'm in.
I see them coming in now. Ow!
Yep, there they are.
Awesome, guys.
So basically, for this phase, it does a lot of stuff coming at me, but as long as I get the healing items, I'm generally fine, because the healing items heal way more than like the damage is actually done to you.
Yeah, like, the way the damage even works in this fight is that I believe Flowey only ever deals a fixed 25% of your current HP, which means that the first couple of hits that you take, they look really severe. It looks like they do a lot of damage, but then once you've taken a lot of damage, your health bar drains a lot more slowly.
And that's it. That was some good outspin. And that's the Flowey fight. Pretty simple. I mean, it's not simple once you first start playing the game. Like, I remember my first playthrough, my first battle with Flowey, I died immediately. Like, or seemingly immediately.
I think a lot of people did, to be honest.
Yep.
Right here, he's gonna stand right under the circle of bullets so he can get hit by them as soon as he can't get hit by them.
Mm-hmm.
For whatever reason, I guess the hitboxes of the pellets like increase in size once they actually spread out, which causes you to hit them as soon as they start.
So after a quick little exploit with moving the cursor before it visually appears on screen to hit the fight action immediately after this cutscene ends, there's another short quit and reload strat, since the next save flag is set after Flowey's text appears on screen after choosing to fight and kill him. So quit and reload there, and then immediately walk through the door to end neutral story, and then the next save flag is created when the Undertale splash comes on screen. So we have two quick quit and reloads here.
So there will be a while with no screen share.
Mm-hmm. Don't worry about it. I mean, we know what's going on.
Okay. So now we're going to go back and do the dates with Undyne and Alphys. Yeah, downward wrong warps are really difficult. I just use a stick there. There we go, that's better. Out of the hotel before the elevator stops. That's how you know you did it well enough, at least.
Yeah, this is a good instance to find as well from the accidental stick usage. Once the stick is in the inventory, you can't really get rid of it. If you use it, you just pick it straight back up.
So that menu right there is the bane of true pacifist runners' existences right there. It is very easy to boat to Snowden, which loses you about 20 seconds or so.
Yeah, and you have to take this boat twice, so you need to avoid that mistake twice in a row.
Wrong warp here. There we go. So that is an example of a setup. A setup for the wrong warp that involves leaving the screen and coming back. So I'm going to be trying to do a lot of controller matching during this date to speed it up as much as I can. hold my controller in an extremely awkward position here to mash and then move immediately after. There we go. So the Undying Nade is basically just a lot of mashing. A lot of mashing, and for instance, I chose the T there. The T is the only option that will actually advance the date. And there are a few few places where you have to mash as fast as you can to stir the pot. A couple places where you have to actually just one place where you have to hold right to turn up the heat. That's basically it. Other than that, it's just mashing.
And when you are mashing the noodles, it is actually faster to mash faster, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Like random mash, like just a brute force mash. I'd say this date's going rather well. We're reeling her in quite nicely.
Oh, no.
I deserve it. Man. I'm
Such a
sorry.
life.
So this point right here, it is actually faster to mash just as fast as you can. All right, and that'll do it. And we just attack Undyne there for 1 damage. You can't actually do any more than 1 damage there. This part of the run is very mash heavy. Basically, we're just getting through a lot of dialogue to get to what is probably the most technical part of this entire run. That menu
The alpha
again.
state.
Yep, the alpha state. Yep, exactly.
It's all about hitting that audio glitch.
I managed to share the screen again, by the way, so
Oh, thank you.
no problem. That's the last time I'll have to do that. Alright, alpha state time. Hopefully this date goes just as well. So there's a skip we can get here. If you mash fast enough, you can actually skip some text and a music jingle. And I got it. Okay, nice. So you can hear the music playing in the background that's not supposed to play. Not supposed to be playing. I don't know why that happens. We like anime. Hey chat, is anime real or not real?
Nah.
It's up to the chat. What do you guys think? Is anime real or not real? It actually makes no difference for the run. Real, not real, not real, too real. Real, real. I'm seeing more real than not real. Jog boy, by the way. So it's real. Okay, so now we've done the dates, we can go back to the true lab. Or go back to the lab, rather, and it will be the true lab. True lab is basically the most technical part of the entire speedrun. You're rung warping all over the place. The rooms are huge. So It's typically faster to wrong warp into most of the rooms. All right. So that elevator opens up for the first time in the entire game right there. Fun fact, actually, before that point, the trigger for that elevator doesn't even exist. You have to set a certain flag for plot in order to actually have that trigger appear for the elevator. Okay. So again, we're wrong warping into almost every room, honestly, in True Lab. So, like, this is basically the culmination of every strat in this run with Punch Card is True Lab. So now we fight Memory Head.
AKA Gygas.
Gygas, yep, pretty much. What's worse than one Gygas? A bunch of Gygases? Alright, so we just use our cell phone to listen to what they're saying and then refuse their offer to join them. That was sticky. We'll not rip the punch card and go ahead and advance. Get the red key, get the key in the slot, sorry.
I was just going to say, I mentioned before that like the stick is very difficult to get rid of. Conversely, the punch card, the item that we need for the whole game, is very easy to get rid of.
Yes. Is it any faster to fight some of the amalgamates? We skip the ones we can, like this one. So we can overflow that switch and then read the sign and press yes on the same input. Wait until first turns, we can regain control and regain and wrong warp out, and we're good. You don't have to wrong warp out, it's just faster.
As far as actually using fight against the amalgamates goes, the answer is no, because you actually can't damage them.
Alright, so now I fight Lemon Bread. We're going to unhug, hum, and flex. Not necessarily in that order. You don't have to do it in any specific order.
Also, those random teeth patterns can be dreadful.
Yes, they can. Whoops. Whoops. Doesn't matter. We won't be battling anything else in True Lab. Knock on wood. For Reaper Bird skip. So this is Snowdrake's mother. Joke at her 4 times, and you're done. 3 times, excuse me, not 4. It's the only other part in the run where up and down can help you out. That's not the pixel, apparently. Alright, shout out to Cookie Apocalypse for this strat. This is Reaper Bird skip. So if you skip, so I just did that for safety. So if you skip Reaper Bird's encounter here, which you can do, skip that encounter. Get a little swag walk up in there. Use a text box to run where it past it like that. At least I used to use a text box, you don't have to.
Yeah, you can use a downwards wrong walk, but it's considerably more difficult.
And that is True Lab. That was a pretty good one, actually.
That was pretty good, yeah.
So I should mention, by the way, you can wrong warp upon transitioning with any item or anything rather that brings your interact value back to 0. That includes a text box or the last text box in any given series of dialogue. Using that text box to bring your interact value back down to 0 can also help you wrong warp. You don't have to use the punch card.
It's worth noting as well that some wrong warps are more important than others. Pretty much the importance of wrong warping at any given spot is generally determined by how much distance you're going to cover with the wrong warp. Some of them do cover so little distance that they still do save time if you set it up quickly and execute it quickly. But if you fail it once, it doesn't even save time anymore to go back and attempt it again.
That was a much better run move combo than the first one.
Yeah.
And that is essentially it for overworld stuff. Now it's just the final battle with spoilers, and we're done.
If you guys want to swing hug or no hug one way or the other, now would be a very good time to get donations.
Now would be an extremely good time to do it. Save the kids, hug the goat. Or for the kids, hug the goat. That point, by the way, is one of the few times where random mashing is actually faster. For whatever reason, dialogue works differently in certain encounters, and for whatever reason, it works differently right there as well. Another notable place where it works differently is if you ever do a genocide run, Flowey's text in New Home works the same way. So this has been a pretty decent run.
Yes, this is very solid.
Here is also one of those points as well. It seems to just switch back and forth throughout this entire encounter for no reason, for no apparent reason. All of your souls are mine. Alright. Spoilers. So, this is the final boss of the True Pacifist ending. So the Azrael fight is just about not dying.
Azrael's attacks can be quite deadly when you don't have armor on.
Yeah, and we don't have any armor. Yep, exactly.
His stars do 8 damage, so they will kill you in 3 hits.
What you do in this part doesn't really matter, but I like to create some more space in my inventory and dream so that my inventory is filled with last dreams. Last dreams heal you fully. So should I get hit at all, it shouldn't be a problem. So we gotta wait for a certain point. I couldn't get a color glitch. There's a glitch you can do there, I didn't get it though. It's frame perfect. this is probably the most bullet helly, the bullet hell-like battle in the entire game. Besides maybe, actually, if you can call Sans bullet hell, I don't know. The Sans battle is more of a platformer than anything, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, like each of Azrael's attacks do about 8 damage. So yeah, we just got hit there, that did 8 damage. And we got hit again there, so we're gonna just go ahead and use the last dream nice and quickly.
As the fight progresses, his attacks do get more difficult to dodge. Like his star attacks will start spinning.
Yeah, we'll start like rotating. Oh my god.
Thankfully for this gun attack, you can just hold X in a direction to dodge it.
Yeah, you can cheese that attack pretty badly. Alright, so now the stars start spinning, so you just need to keep that in mind. They start like turning slightly, just enough to mess you up. But we did pretty well there. God, those attacks have been trolly.
The next attack he will use is Hyper Counter attack.
Yep, so the thing about this attack is, if it hits you, it brings you down to 1 HP automatically. We're gonna try not to get hit by it, but there is a backup strat if we do. This attack is pure RNG, so avoiding this can be a little bit challenging. That was actually pretty friendly. So we remain at full HP.
The next sequence of attacks can still be fairly difficult to dodge.
Yeah, they're very difficult. It's really difficult actually just not to die here, honestly. I think it just like close in on you. Yeah, I don't think I had anywhere to go there, honestly.
Still distinctly remember the one pacifist run I tried where I dodged all of this, and my glow was just like, how are you so good at dodging these?
You can kind of manipulate them like Undying Spears.
Emphasis on kind of, though. This is like, it's really difficult to actually gauge where these are going.
I didn't stand a chance. Luckily, dying during that phase doesn't actually cost you a lot of time. Alright, so now we move on to the Lost Souls section. Basically, it doesn't matter what you actually do, except for the last option. You want to choose the one that has the least amount of dialogue after it. So for Undyne, it was Recipe. For Undyne, it'll be Nerd Out. Shooting these as fast as possible helps.
Well, strictly speaking, in these sections, you do want to be very careful that you don't accidentally select Fight at any point.
Yes.
Which is very easy to do when you transition back to Azrael.
The point at which you can menu, though, is really early. Like, I started menuing there before the screen turned back fully white, or before the screen turned back from white. So you can just mash the menus for those parts. And then here you can just make sure to choose one for the other soul for Sans, and choose Mercy, or not, or Joke, excuse me. It's Mercy for Toriel. That's not the right menu, wow. So this Lost Soul section is the reason we got the pie at the beginning of the run. We can skip 2 cycles there, which we just did. And then choose Mercy, which has the least amount of dialogue. And then save Azrael, and that's it. That's it for the Azrael fight, pretty much, and the rest is just smashing through it. So, the question, are we hugging or are we not?
How much time do I have to calculate here? Because all the manual things have been really badly lately.
Couple of
About
minutes.
2 minutes.
All right, give me 2 minutes.
Okay. Fun fact, I once no-hit that attack. By pure luck. It was loud. Fun fact, by the way, you can spare Azrael here. You don't actually need to save him. I'm actually sparing him right now because it's easier for me personally.
So I have a quick second to read a donation real quick.
Sure.
All right, so I have a $5 donation from A Butu. And they say, this might be the weakest GDQ schedule to date. So many classic games skipped in favor of garbage that no one watches or cares about. I'm hating this new direction of ignoring the rich history of speedrunning in favor of a bunch of millennials playing mobile phone games.
Thanks, Labutu.
And if I missed this one earlier, we had a $15 donation from Draco Dan that says, reset your life, kid, saving the frames.
Okay,
That's a donation for no hug, by the way.
are we hugging or no?
Sorry, I have the donation up right now. I'm calculating as we speak.
Okay, I need to know, like, within the next 15 seconds. It has to be hug. It has to be.
Quickly.
Sorry, tech issues on my side. Give me seconds. I'm pretty sure hug is going to win out here.
Ah.
'Cause I've seen nothing else but hugs besides the no hug. Let's see, 3.
To hug or not to hug?
That is the question.
Okay, quick math. 1 second, guys. This is a no hug.
No hug.
You guys are welcome. Hey, that was $15 well spent.
It was very close. It was $4 in between the two.
$4. Damn. I did not expect that. Okay, so one last little optimization here. I probably shouldn't do this in a marathon, but screw it.
Guys, it's a speed run.
Oh, come on, keyboard.
Oh, that's actually a good point. If you were to softlock on the
Keyboard,
where would
God.
it set you to?
Please.
Before Asriel.
Yep, before
Oh,
Azrael.
wow.
This keyboard is really sensitive, man.
You're gonna do that in AGDQ, right, T?
No. Hell no. Hell no. Oh my god. This is a mid 128-ish.
Yeah. In between the failed ice puzzle skip and then waiting for the donation category there, was this world record pace?
No.
Eh.
No. I'd have to be sub 127. 127.02. 03 is world record.
It's not that far off though, honestly. This was an extremely solid run.
It was. I'm really happy with this run actually. It was a lot better than my V6 run earlier. Whoops.
That's time,
okay,
by the
well,
way.
it was one. It was 128.23. I think it was because my timer doesn't stop. I can't
That
get
was
my
like
timer to stop.
128.11 approximately, including the time spent waiting on hug or no hug.
That's true.
So without that was like a solid 127. That was really good.
Oh, that's it. That was that's Undertale True Pacifist Ending Speedrun. Hope you guys enjoyed that. My name's TGH, and I was happy to have Draco, Dan, and Rambu along with me to co-commentate. You guys have anything to say to end it?
I made the right choice.
Well, thanks a lot, guys. That's it. That's it for me. Thanks. Thanks a lot, guys.
All right, and just before you log off here, TG8s, I do have a donation update here. We are about $15 away from $200, so we're getting very close to that first marker there.
Well done, guys. Keep it up. Keep it going.
Yeah. Thanks very much for the support so far, guys.
Thanks a lot, guys.
And thank you, T. That was an awesome run.
No problem. Thank you, guys, and thank you, Rambu, as well.
Thank you guys for your commentary. That was very awesome. Thank you. I actually didn't think No Hugs was going to win, so it
I
came
didn't think
out
it was either.
right last minute.
I thought
It was
Hug was. I
very
thought Hug was
close.
gonna sweep the floor with him. I don't know. Yeah, that was unexpected. GG.
Clearly, I'm just going to need to drop a 10,000 donation at AGDQ to swing that one.
Yeah, same.
It could happen. Crazier things have happened to AGDQ.
That's going to be Notch's next big donation.
All right.
All right, so let's get ready for the handoff.
All right. See you guys.